Welcome to this video where today we're going to be taking a look at the charge phase. This is one of the main phases of the game of Warhammer 40k. Michael, what is the charge phase and what can we do in this?
Well, Jordan, the charge phase is our opportunity to come to blows with our opponent. We can get up close and personal and use our melee weapons, all right, which obviously feature heavily in the world of Warhammer 40,000.
Yes, definitely.
So the main thing that happens in the charge phase is charge moves. Now, there are a few other things you can do, some tricks you can pull, some core stratagems you can use, and we'll talk about those towards the end of the video. But the very basic thing you can do here is to charge with your units.
I want to make a charge. How do I do this?
So the first thing we have to check if you want to charge with a unit is whether it's eligible to charge. And what that means is it within 12 inches of an enemy unit?
Okay, so if we take my Blood Angel Assault Intercessors here, they are within 12 of these Termagants. And also, we're actually within 12 of the Screamer Killer.
Okay.
So these two are eligible to charge, I guess?
Yes. So once you've done that, you then need to check if your unit has done anything previously in the turn that stops it from being able to charge. So if you made an advance move or if you made a fallback move, then you're not able to declare a charge with that unit. You may find that your army has rules, whether that's stratagems, detachments, characters perhaps that lead a unit, or a unit itself that is able to get around that and is able to maybe advance and charge or fall back and charge, or both sometimes. But in most cases, units that have advanced or fallen back are not able to declare charges. So your unit has just made a normal move.
Yes.
Which means you can declare a charge.
Brilliant. So I want to get to blows with these Termagants. I want to get in there and get into combat.
Okay.
How do I do that?
So the first thing you've got to do is declare one or more of the targets of the charge. All right?
Termagants.
So we've picked the Termagants. Then what we're going to do is we're going to roll 2 dice for our charge move.
We've rolled a 6, Michael.
Okay.
Right. So does that mean I get to just move 6 inches?
Not quite. So what you've got to do is measure how far that would move you.
Okay.
However, what we would recommend doing, and this is just a tip, is actually measure how far the enemy unit is from your unit in inches.
Okay, so if we measure that for these Termagants here, and we look from their base to our base, it's within 8 inches.
Okay.
So it's not quite 8, it's 7 and a bit. So yeah, within 8 inches.
So in order for a charge to be a successful roll, you need to be able to finish that move within engagement range of an enemy unit.
And what's engagement range?
So engagement range is 1 inch.
Brilliant.
So what you'd essentially need to do is roll your dice, add on 1 inch to that, and if that equals or is greater than the distance between you and your enemy unit target, you make a successful charge.
Okay, so I've rolled a 6.
Rolled a 6.
I need to get within 8.
8, yep.
So I'm not going to make it.
So you failed the charge.
Damn it.
If you fail the charge, your unit does not move.
Oh,
No movement whatsoever.
that's a letdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So let's roll again
Yeah.
and see what happens if we succeed.
I've rolled an 8, Michael.
Okay.
That is enough.
That is enough because an 8 is enough to get you within engagement range of an enemy unit.
Brilliant. Well, I've got a question. Let's say, because we did say earlier that I was within range of this Screamer Killer. Let's say I wanted to charge him as well. Is that possible?
That is possible. You can declare both targets as a charge. However, in order to make a successful charge move, you have to have rolled enough to get you within engagement range of all of the targets of your charge.
Oh, so if, let's say, I've rolled an 8 here, that's not going to be within 11 of the Screamer Killer, but it would be with the Termagants. I still failed the charge because I've declared both.
Exactly. So if the total distance between the Screamer Killer and your intercessors is more than 9, because you rolled an 8 and then engagement range is 1 inch, then you're going to fail the charge. You won't be able to move at all. You can't just decide to charge just the Termagants.
Okay.
You don't move at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
So obviously, smart decision, try to take the shorter charges. It's not worth the risk because, of course, remember, your unit just does not move.
Yeah.
And you kind of stood out there like a lemon waiting to get shot.
We are, with our bright yellow helmets, we are looking like a bunch of lemons on the desert bar right now.
You are.
Yeah, so not great, but let's say we just go into the Termagants.
Fantastic. So what you're going to do now is you're going to move each of your models individually.
Okay.
Okay. So each of those models can move up to the distance you've rolled in inches.
Right, so rolled 8 inches. Let's move up to here. Boom. That's one model.
So that's one model. Now, important things to note when you're making your charge move, you can't move within an engagement range of any models you did not charge.
Okay, so example. If I had the Screamer Killer here, This right here, where I place this intercessor, is within an inch, right?
Yes.
I can't place my model there, so I would have to place him a bit further this way
Exactly.
to make sure I'm not within that engagement range.
Further to this, if your model is able to, with the inches of distance you can move, get into base-to-base contact,
Right.
so the bases of the models are touching each other, of an enemy target, then you have to do so, provided you can also remain within coherency.
I could move this guy 8 inches to there,
Mm-hmm.
but he could also get 8 inches into base-to-base contact over here.
Yes.
So he would have to go there and not outside on the flank.
Exactly that. However, there are some ways around this, and some of the tips, of course, we go through this a lot more on the Academy. You can choose the order in which you move your models.
Okay, so one of these sneaky plays that we could do, right, is we could move this guy here at the back 8 inches. So he's going to go jump over the top of his friends, but he can't make base-to-base with the termagants.
That's right.
So he's going to stay, obviously, within engagement range, but just out for the moment. The other back guy is going to do the same. He's going to go to there. Now, these two, they can't actually make base-to-base now because their friends have taken up the space required for them to make base-to-base. So they could be very sneaky and go around the sides.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So by choosing the order in which you move your models, you can open up a few more options. There are specific ways you can use this, but that kind of stuff we'll save for the Academy.
Yeah.
Right, so you've made the charge.
Yes.
Okay. Now, once you've made the charge with a unit, you can then move on to any other units that you want to make charges with. And then, of course, once you've finished making all of your charges, it then is time to move into your fight phase where you can actually hit your opponent. Now, if you do make a charge, your unit gains the charge bonus.
And what's the charge bonus?
Fights first, which
Right.
allows you to fight with all of your fights first units before any units that don't have fights first get to fight.
Let's say, because obviously we've got some Blood Angels on the table here, their detachment rule gives them +1 strength and attack on the charge. That wouldn't class as a charge bonus.
No, so that is, I guess, a charge bonus or a
It's not
bonus.
the charge bonus.
It's not the charge bonus, absolutely.
Right, brilliant. Okay.
So let's look at some other things you can do in the charge phase. So in this instance, you've ended your charge move within 6 inches of my Screamer Killer.
Yes.
And I'm going to use the core stratagem Heroic Intervention. Now this costs 1 command point, and you're going to use it immediately after an opponent finishes a charge move within 6 inches of your unit. What it does is it allows you to declare a charge right back. Okay, and of course you're declaring it against the unit that charged you. So it works in exactly the same way. I'm going to roll 2d6. I've rolled a 5. Now, of course, I can move through friendly models, and the Screamer Killer is going to ball right into this combat right here.
Well, that's not good.
So it's not good, but I don't get the charge bonus when I heroically intervene.
Right,
So
okay.
you're still going to fight before me.
Yep.
And what this means is that when you want to heroically intervene, you need to make sure that the unit you're using that stratagem on can either take the hit, like this massive Screamer Killer can, or maybe they have fights first themselves, even if they don't charge.
Yeah, which means because obviously I gain the fights first for the charge, that's the charge bonus. You having fights first means that you would actually fight before me, which is something we'll come on to in the next video, right?
Absolutely. So one of the final things you can do in the charge phase is Overwatch.
Yes.
However, remember that you can only Overwatch in your opponent's movement and charge phases. So in this particular instance, even though I charged with my Screamer Killer, you wouldn't be able to Overwatch with the Bile Predator because it's not my charge phase. However, if we reset the board a little bit, we can go through how Overwatch would work. Right, so it's my charge phase this time, and I'm going to charge my termagants at your Assault Intercessors.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Maybe there's an objective I'm trying to achieve, maybe there's a marker nearby, maybe it's a distraction, maybe there's some sneaky hive mind play going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to see through the lines here, but what's the purpose to this and what's going to happen?
So basically, we're going to roll some dice, and then we're going to show off Overwatch.
Brilliant.
Right? So the termagants are declaring a charge, and I immediately will roll my charge dice. I've rolled a 5. Now, a 5 from this distance would not make it in.
Yeah.
But for the purposes of Overwatch, that now means you can't Overwatch me.
Yes.
You can only Overwatch if your opponent successfully makes a charge.
Yeah. So you declare Overwatch after a successful charge has been made, right?
Exactly that.
Right, okay.
So let's imagine I rolled a 3, so I've got a 7. I now can make the charge, and you can Overwatch me. So Overwatch, just like in the movement phase, you're basically going to get to shoot your opponent's unit. In this case, you'll probably pick your flamer-fueled Bile Predator to shoot my Termagants.
Yep.
You'll basically make all of your shooting attacks. You will only hit on unmodified hit rolls of 6. Sadly, you've got Torrent.
Is it sadly though, Michael?
Depends whose side you're on.
Yeah, exactly.
So Torrent, of course, means you don't roll any hits. You just automatically hit.
Yeah, so this is the most devastating weaponry that you can actually get for an Overwatch target, right? So this is, the Bile Predator is great for this. So should we roll some dice?
Go for it.
Right, heavy flamers. I get 2d6 shots here because I've got 2 heavy flamers. So I'm just going to roll some. So I've rolled a 5. So I'm going to get 5 shots here. Right, strength 5, your toughness?
3.
Toughness 3, so it's 3s to wound you. There you go, that's 4 wounds, Michael. Can I please have 4 saves at -1?
Okay, so I've got a 5 at base save. That means I need 6s to live, and 4 models are already dead.
Exactly.
So you can remove these from anywhere, and you can even remove them from the front. It won't fail your charge. You've already rolled the dice to make that happen, so you will definitely be moving regardless of whether you're now can't actually get within engagement range.
It just depends, I guess, which models you want to make base to base and things like that, right? That's the only options you've got to consider when you're removing these models.
Yes. Right now, my concern is actually surviving the Overwatch.
Yeah, so there is obviously another big flamer here, Michael.
Probably kills the rest of
It probably does, yeah. It's a very powerful flamer. But anyway, that's the devastating effect of Overwatch, especially in the charge phase.
Yes. So do watch out for it. Think about whether charging with multiple units might allow you to get away with not getting Overwatched in a certain place. Maybe you've got ways of making your opponent's stratagems cost more. This can be very, very effective in Overwatch. And of course, your opponent can't Overwatch if they can't see you.
Yes.
So make use of that terrain. I could, for example, have had a container here and stood behind it. It might be a longer charge because I have to go around the container, but I at least would not get Overwatched. So that about does it for today's lesson on the charge phase. Now, if you want a much deeper look at the charge phase and all the other phases of the game, and maybe even some of the more theoretical sides like game theory, command point management, time management, then do sign up to the waiting list for the Academy, and we'll see you there. You're going to learn all sorts about the game. You'll go from knowing very little to knowing enough to go to tournaments on the regular, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So can't wait to see you there, but otherwise...
Yeah, well, we'll see you in the fight phase video.